It'll be the big league debut of Hunter Brown.
Fans behind the Astros dugout giving him a standing ovation.
8th strikeout in 5 innings for Hunter Brown.
Give him 12, a dozen strikeouts for Hunter Brown. Oh, the Diesel special tonight. Hunter Brown. That is strikeout number 200 for Hunter Brown for the first time in his career. Hunter Brown looking as good as we have seen in a while. Oh yeah, Hunter Brown, the Diesel's fueled up tonight.
Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV, presented by Verilux. We've got a good one for you coming at you from Houston between the Astros and the Rangers. And you will see Hunter Brown on the mound for the Astros. And to say Houston needs him to get back to his elite self for the remainder of the season, that might be an understatement. Hunter Brown suffered a shoulder strain in April, and he returned to the mound mid-June. But for his first 5 starts, he didn't look like himself. He was staring at a 6.08 ERA with tough command, but that's not just us saying it. Hunter Brown held himself accountable. He said, I hold myself to a high standard. I was underperforming. But then came a Saturday afternoon on the south side of Chicago, facing one of the best lineups in baseball. Brown looked more than back to himself, dominant, commanding, efficient in 7 shutout innings. I loved what Joe Espada said to the media after the game. He said, Brown looked pissed off. He said, I thought he came out there and he was pissed. He was tired of the performances. And if that start was the version of Hunter Brown that's back, the Astros' postseason hopes and the rest of the year for them looks a whole lot scarier for the rest of the division. Around the corner, we'll be right back here in Houston for more on Friday Night Baseball between the Astros and the Rangers. Your first look at lineups and then first pitch is next.
It takes years of hard work and dedication to earn the call.
We've got you. For the first time, MLB and T-Mobile offer you a chance to win trips to all 30 stadiums. Yes, all 30.
What a treat.
The views.
This is so much fun.
The food.
It's a fiesta here at the ballpark.
The vibe.
The energy is incredible.
The adventure of a lifetime with experiences you simply need to see to believe. Begin your journey to 30. Enter now.
So enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Just live your life one day at a time. And enjoy the ride. 'Cause one day you'll be gone, and one day come the night. So enjoy the ride.
We welcome you back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV, presented by Verilux Lenses, along with a 7-year Major League veteran Ryan Spilborghs. Trisha Whitaker down to the field. Alex Faust here with you. Dyken Park in Houston. The Rangers, with Monday's trade deadline looming and still in first place in the AL West, have a bit of an easier road despite the fact they're in a tough 13-game stretch without a day off. One of their vocal leaders has been Brandon Nimmo, and he's standing by on the field with Trisha Whitaker.
All right, Brandon, first of all, I want to ask you about the huge piece you guys got back to your lineup today. Corey Seager, what does he do for you guys?
I mean, Corey, you know, he's an all-star, silver slugger. He's a game changer. So for us, having him back in our lineup really transforms it. Anyone would be glad to have him, and we are especially. We're looking forward to having him healthy and for the rest of the season, but I just want to see him healthy out there because he's an absolute game changer.
You sit atop of the division, but you know that the Astros and the Mariners are right on your tail. What's the magnitude of this matchup?
Yeah, it's a tight division, and honestly, it feels like a playoff series. You know, we're getting to that time of year. Big decisions to be made at trade deadline. So for us, you know, these are must-win series, and you know, we're looking to have a lot of fun out here. The atmosphere should be great. Should be like a playoff game.
We love that. Brandon, thank you for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Trisha, the Astros and the Rangers renewing their rivalry in the Lone Star State. As we take a look at starting lineups presented by BetMGM. Rangers featuring Jock Peterson. Over 1,000 OPS at the leadoff spot. That is the highest mark in the American League. He'll face Hunter Brown. who missed 2.5 months with a shoulder injury, and the ace of the Astros staff didn't quite look himself, as Trisha Whitaker was talking about, since coming back. But that performance against the White Sox last weekend, he's looking like their ace once again.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, when Diesel gets on the mound, Diesel gets angry and he likes to use his fastball. All Diesel, he does have one of the league's best four-seam fastballs, and then these boots aren't made for walking. He's struggled with some command. Part of that has to do with your shoulder. It's amazing. I went back to 2024, and this is what turned Hunter Brown's career around. You look through the first 6 starts of that season. He had an ERA close to a 10. Then he started to introduce a two-seam fastball. It started on May 5th. If you look from May 5th, 2024 through the rest of the year, that was 25 starts. That ERA went from a 10 to a 2.51 during that time frame, all because of a two-seam that allows him to get inside to righties. Here's his pitch arsenal. Statcast is powered by Google Cloud. Four-seam fastball, league doesn't touch that. The sinker, it gets off the barrel. The knuckle curve is a true swing and miss. He has a changeup in the slider, but when Hunter's at his best, he is pounding the strike zone with his four-seam, throwing the curveball off of it, and then keeping hitters honest with his two-seam fastball.
Astros and Rangers both top 5 in the American League in records since May 29th. Astros can claim the silver boot and take over first place in the AL West for the first time since April 6th. Rangers hope to remain in first place, but they must sweep this weekend to claim the head-to-head tiebreaker, which could once again play a factor in the AL West down the stretch. Hunter Brown ready to go against Jock Peterson, as the Rangers and the Astros tangle on Friday Night Baseball. Brown from the windup, deals, and catches the corner. We're underway.
I'm looking forward to this first inning for both sides. Both offenses matching up against 2 elite starters, and for Jock Peterson, he is finally starting to hit the fastball again. Last year, he could not hit it.
Peterson, who came off the bench the last couple of games, but before that had an 11-game on-base streak. Quietly the team leader in homers, and also the team leader in OPS. Big bounce-back season for him, as Yainer Diaz challenges this pitch, a 1-1 pitch. That's one of those big swing counts. And an ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. We'll see this clip the bottom of the zone.
As such a huge pitch to challenge, because you go from a 2-1 count to a 1-2 count, and that is the biggest swing in baseball.
Two balls and 2 strikes now, as Brown spikes that breaking pitch in the dirt.
Oh, very close.
Two, and again breaking pitch in the dirt, and the count runs full. This is the second series this month between the Rangers and the Astros. Jock Peterson homered against Hunter Brown earlier this month.
A 3-2 count. This is fastball count. Jock looking to probably do some damage.
Fights that fastball off. Rangers took 2 out of 3 against the Astros earlier this month. The last game of that series coming in walk-off fashion. At the time, it put the Astros 3 games back in the division, and a couple games out of the All-Star break, the Astros found themselves as many as 4 games back. And that's a leadoff walk to Peterson, his 37th of the year, second most on the team. As we take a look at the Astros defense here tonight, Wade, Trammell, and Smith in the outfield. Paredes, Pena, Altuve, and Walker. A lot of Gold Glove winners in the infield, with Diaz behind the plate.
It's a fairly solid defense when you think about the fielding percentage, 5th best in baseball, but not a ton of range all around.
So here's Wyatt Langford, We talk about Corey Seager being back, and between the two of them with all their injury trouble, it's only been 25 times out of the Rangers' first 104 games that both of them have been in the lineup this season. And Langford with a towering fly ball to left field. Wade underneath it, makes the call, and the catch. That'll bring up Seager as we take a look at the weather report presented by Ricola. 95 and sticky outside, but inside nice and air conditioned.
Yeah, it's called the Ice Box now. Dyken Park used to be the Juice Box when it was Minute Maid.
So here is Seager, who missed the last 23 games for the Rangers. On and off injury trouble once again.
But you heard from Skip Schumacher today. I mean, Seager completely flips this lineup if he's right.
And Seager bounces one up the middle for a base hit. Just like that, he's back in the lineup.
I'm out.
And he has a base knock with one out.
And we've seen a lot more teams with guys like a Corey Seager where he doesn't have to go to the minor leagues and get a ton of at-bats. They do a lot of live and sim games around the stadium. So for Seager, even though he didn't get a lot of rehab games, he got a lot of at-bats. And that timing's already locked in.
And we heard from Skip Schumacher about all the simulation work he does even when he's not coming back from an injury. Day after day in the cage with video study. And he is, in a word, obsessed. And you can understand the two-time World Series MVP, how much of a difference maker he can be when he's on the field. As Nimmo comes to the plate, been swinging a great bat lately. And Nimmo on the season, pretty solid year. 26 doubles, that's third most in the American League.
He ends up being a great trade for the Texas Rangers. They moved on from Marcus Semien. They bring Brandon Nimmo back. Some of it was a little bit of accounting when it comes to trading these contracts, but Nimmo's impact has been far beyond just the offensive abilities on the field. It's what he does for his teammates. He has been a great addition for the Rangers.
First and second, one out. And Nimmo holds his swing on the fastball upstairs. We also heard about how much of a tremendous leader he's been in this Rangers clubhouse. Really taking some of the younger players under his wing. Fights this pitch off.
Well, he just grinds at bats down for you too. Heard about Nimmo for a long time. He was from Wyoming, a place that doesn't have Little League baseball. It's Legion ball. And his favorite player was Todd Helton. He actually had a batting cage in his backyard. He used to hit in that thing until late at night.
10 seasons with the Mets. Popular player in New York. Oh, look out. Boy. Thankful every time you see one of these foul balls go off a railing right in front of these dugouts. That was hit right their way.
If you look at some of the old videos of stadiums, they used to not have that rail.
I don't know how he went so long without it. This has been a great at bat, as the Rangers early on have been grinding away. 18 pitches now in this first inning, and this will be the 8th of the at bat due to Brandon Nimmo.
And this Rangers team, they've been grinding. They have not had a day off, and they're going straight into the trade deadline. And a frustrating series in Tampa Bay. That's one that they felt like they probably had a chance to win the series. They lost it.
Yeah, yesterday they were stifled, Rangers, even after Shane McClanahan left the game early. Limited to just 2 runs on 2 hits. And then in what was a bullpen game, gave up a 2-1 lead in the 6th inning.
And this team is also accustomed to playing tight games. I mean, that is, they had a run of winning 12 consecutive 1-run games. That ended yesterday.
As frustrating as the series against the Rays was last weekend, took 3 of 4 against the Mariners to open up the division lead. As Nimmo rolls one to second, Altuve flipped to Pena for 1, on to first, double play, and the inning is over.
With BetMGM, any
The leadoff man for the Astros in Jeremy Pena. As they get set to come to bat, starting lineups presented by BetMGM. Astros featuring Yordan Alvarez, who has hit 8 homers against the Rangers this year. That is the most for any player against any team this season. He's been torching him. Nathan Eovaldi will have to deal with him. 21st start for Big Game Nate. 5-1 in his last 7 as Jeremy Pena fouls the first pitch off. Entering today, Eovaldi tied for the 2nd most wins in the American League. Behind only Sonny Gray.
Big Nate from Alvin, Texas. There's a pretty good former major leaguer from there that played both for the Astros and the Rangers. Pretty cool. You know, Alvin's about 30 minutes away from here, 30 miles away. You know, he's watched a lot of Astros games. He's watched a lot of Rangers games growing up.
Probably idolized the guy who wore number 34. As Pena swings through that split finger.
Oh, there he is. The Express.
Eovaldi used to be a power pitcher. But he has become more of that. A lot of veteran savvy. And some breaking stuff and off-speed stuff to go with his knowledge of the game as we spill the beans.
Yeah, first things first, Nathan Eovaldi has to get through this first inning. That's where all the damage has been done. 5.85 ERA, huge OPS, and deep in the heart of Texas, that is the first 2 batters of this lineup, and Eovaldi's not scared of Yordan. He should be, but he's not.
There has not been a player quite as fearsome as Yordan Alvarez as we've seen in a while. And Alvarez goes the other way, taking a pitch in on the hands and dunking it into left. Leading the American League in average homers and RBI, not to mention leading all of baseball in OPS. Trying to become the first Triple Crown winner since Miguel Cabrera in 2012. And
it's not up for debate. Right now, Yordan is the best hitter in baseball. It is not for debate. You can say Shohei Ohtani, you can make an argument for Juan Soto, but it's not close. Yordan, talking to any manager in baseball, is the guy that you circle not to beat you.
To give you an idea of how hard it is to win a Triple Crown, Cabrera is the only man in the last 59 years to do it. Before him, it was Carl Yastrzemski, 1967. That's where he leads in all 3 of those categories. Major league leader in homers as well with 35. Isaac Paredes here. And Joe Espada was talking about where Alvarez fits into this lineup, especially with Pena healthy at the top. But there's protection on both sides here with the way Paredes swings the bat.
And Christian Walker now, too. And with the trade deadline coming up, I just saw Dana Brown, he walked by. I mean, the obvious need here is trying to get some outfield production. Right now, the outfield production for the Astros is at the bottom of baseball. That includes 27 games with Jordan in the outfield.
That's got to be top of mind for Joe Espada and for this front office, as you mentioned, who said they are going to be buyers. Dana Brown said earlier this week that's what he would anticipate. Paredes draws a 5-pitch walk. That puts 2 aboard for Christian Walker. Now this Houston team, a good chunk of the season, people were wondering what's going on over there, and obviously injuries were part of the story. But as they've gotten healthier, Joe Espada's also said they stuck with the process. And they had some frustrating results in the early portion of this season, falling to 11 games under 500 in late May. They were still 7 games under 500 just out of the All-Star break, and now here they are knocking on the door of the division lead.
Well, I saw them multiple times at their lowest point of the year.
Right back up the middle. Nicky Lopez will go to the bag and make the play. Couple of double plays on either side. An inning in the books.
250 reasons to cheat.
Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball. Well, you saw Corey Seager's impact immediately in his first at-bat of this game when he knocked a hit, but the Rangers have been without their face of their franchise in Seager for more than a month, and getting him back could be one of the biggest additions any contender makes the rest of the season. Look at all of those injuries that Seager has sustained, but when he is good for the Rangers, he makes a huge difference. And he looked sharp during his rehab assignment, homering in his first game, and he actually had around 20 ABs because he also played, guys, in a sin game at Globe Life. And his manager, Skip Schumacher, told us, listen, his post-injury numbers are so good. And he said the other thing about Seager is he is just obsessive about hitting. He said he's the most obsessive hitter he has ever been around, and that he reinvents his swing every single day. So, guys, getting Seager back makes the Rangers that much more dangerous down the stretch through August and September.
Yeah, Tricia, you don't have to talk to Rangers fans about what he means, especially in a postseason, as this is lashed foul by Ezekiel Duran. Remember Seager, those huge homers he hit in the World Series in 2023. Just absolutely can flip a game with one swing. Not to mention, he can be pretty solid in the field too.
I go back to that 2023 American League Championship Series. It was between the Astros and the Rangers, and it was such a strange series in that no home team won a game at home. Everybody won it on the road.
One-two to Durant.
The American League Championship Series was when Adolis Garcia announces presence with authority. I mean, he was unstoppable.
That's the thing, though, that starting to dwindle the number of guys. As that is called strike 3. Duran's going to challenge. And based on the initial blush, it looks like he's going to be right. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile.
Ball's overturned. Texas has 2 challenges remaining.
Isn't that amazing with this challenge? I mean, that's less than an inch. But it's been so important for the game. It works fast. We've seen counts flip.
So the count runs full after that successful challenge. Ezekiel Duran, we're just starting to talk about the numbers of active guys on the Rangers from that 2023 championship team starting to dwindle. He's one of the 10 remaining. Payoff.
That's
Flash foul, look out. Not a lot of these guys left. Montgomery, of course, coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Smith, we just saw, was sent down to the minor leagues right now. It's good to see Seager back. Josh Young dealing with the calf strain.
Duran taps it off of home plate. It's caught in foul ground by Diaz. And Duran will get to go back home. Got another crack at it. I think the big questions that revolve around this Texas team are, what can they do to improve their club, keep them in first place? See the play here in foul ground. But also, is their championship window closing?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, you just got to get to the postseason. And for the Rangers, there's plenty of space right now with the CBT, the tax threshold.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Duran is fanned. First whiff induced by Brown tonight.
Yeah, it gives you a great idea of that curveball that he can spin. I mean, he really spins it. And it's a hard knuckle curve. That's at 83 miles an hour.
I'll bring up Evan Carter. We talk about the guys in that championship team for the Rangers. He came up that year as a teenager in the middle of a playoff run. So much hype and promise around, and then it's hard to back it up when you're in your early 20s and you're supposed to be grinding in the minors and learning the game.
Yeah, it was quite a run for Evan Carter. I mean, you get to the big leagues, you're 20 years old, you're not even a 21-year-old, you're celebrating, the champagne's flying, you got to close your mouth. He was hitting right in the middle of the lineup for the Rangers in that run.
Still only 23. And Skip Schumacher was telling us about, he feels as though Carter's knowledge of the game has grown a lot this year. Instead of worrying simply about production, starting to think the game at a higher level. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Carter spent some time in the IL. Of course, he's had some health troubles dating back the last couple of years. Back injuries. Had an oblique strain in June. Swinging a better bat since his return.
He's a little bit more line to line. Seen quite a few hits opposite field. That's really important for him.
And Carter lines it up the middle for a base hit. Cut off by Cam Smith. Tricia, you have more on Carter?
Yeah, guys, one of the things Skip Schumacher told us about Carter is that Brandon Nimmo is actually teaching him so much when it comes to the game of baseball. He said Evan told him the other day, I have learned so much from him this year. And guys, he also made a little bit of a micro adjustment to improve his rhythm and get his back elbow kind of back in sync, keeping his elbow up slightly higher throughout his swing path. He said that recently, so perhaps that's gone into his strong return from the IL, guys.
Yeah, Tricia, he struggling big time over the first few months of this season. One of the lowest qualifying averages in baseball. But he's aboard here with 1 out for Jake Berger.
Let's talk about Evan Carter's back elbow for a little bit. As soon as you get this up, it allows now for that top hand to drive straight through. So sometimes you'll see that back elbow sits down. If it sits down, it's hard because you start pushing up. Now you can kind of get downhill. And I know you hear a lot of different hitting instructors talk about, like, hey, we want to get the ball in the air. Well, you get the ball in the air based on what pitch decisions you're making. It's not swinging down or swinging up. It's trying to be direct to the baseball.
Carter leads the team in stolen bases, 14 of them on the year. Quickly 0-2 to Berger, the team leader in runs batted in. Top 10 in the American League in that category. And he takes a 3rd strike, belt high, 97 on the fastball. Second strikeout for Brown.
This tells you that Jake Burger was looking for an off-speed pitch. It's right at the top of the zone. He probably was thinking curveball because he saw Duran strike out on it. And he came off the fastball. That's why you get that little head nod. You're like, I shouldn't have come off the fastball.
There goes the runner, and they're going to have him in a rundown. What a call by Yainer Diaz. Heads up to alert Brown with Carter taking off, and he is erased on the base paths to end the inning. One more look. Diaz making the call, and Jeremy Pena initiating the rundown.
Who's ready to break down math?
Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV is presented by Essilor. Learn more about Verilux XR series and find your local Essilor expert today at Essilor.com. And in part by Meineke, doing car care right. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Tricia Whitaker with you. Daikin Park in Houston, game one of a 3-game set between the Astros and the Rangers. Astros looking for a 9th win in a 10-game span, can take over the division lead, and can win the season series against the Rangers for the 3rd straight year. And for the 6th out of 7. Jose Altuve bats here. Joe Espada's club. What a surge. Best record in the American League since May 22nd.
It's such a strange top of this division because the Rangers, they beat up the Mariners. The Mariners, they beat up the Astros. The Astros, in a way, they beat up the Rangers. So all the head-to-heads are all messed up.
Altuve goes fishing there. Rangers have locked the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Mariners, and the Mariners have locked the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Astros. The Astros can lock the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Rangers with a win tonight. Altuve strikes out. Second K for Eovaldi. Let's take you back to the end of the top half of the inning.
So every base runner has a mechanism that they're waiting on a pitcher. Whether it's a count, you count 1001, 1002, because there's a normal timing and progression to it. For Carter, you might be thinking, like, why did he go so soon? Hunter Brown held on for about a second longer than normal. So he was anticipating, and as soon as you're hung out to dry, it is the worst feeling ever. You know you're cooked.
Second time he's been caught stealing this year. Cue shot, third base side, fair. Taylor Trammell making something out of nothing. And he has a 1-out double. They don't ask how.
Yeah, this swing is a bit of an oops. But you'll take it for a double, 6th double of the year for Trammell. You can see he's trying to pull this baseball. It's right off the end of the bat. And he couldn't be living any better than that. That came off the bat at 54 miles an hour.
We mentioned Houston struggles as a team with outfield production. Jake Myers has been in AAA after his struggles at the plate. Trammell's been the everyday center fielder. Yainer Diaz now. Astros coming off a 3-game sweep over the Angels this week. They had a 5-game winning streak last week, sweeping the Marlins, taking a couple from the White Sox, and Diaz lines it up the middle. It'll drop for a base hit in front of Carter. Trammell had to hold up because Carter was charging in on that ball. As a result, he only gets to third. But the Astros have met at the corners with 1 out.
Yeah, really difficult read at second base just because this doesn't come off the bat hot. And for Carter giving chase, you can see Trammell. He's trying to read it. It felt like it might have been a hit off the bat, but he wasn't 100% sure. Valdi, I mean, he's still a pitch away with his split finger to induce a ground ball and get out of this inning.
Valdi looks at first and now looks home to face Lamont Wade Jr. '19th start of the year. But he's been getting on base at a decent clip since the All-Star break.
You see, he went first 2 pitches, split finger. He's trying to get Lamont Wade to swing at that pitch. It is the pitch he throws most to lefties about 40% of the time. Then he comes to the cut fastball. So you might think you're in a hitter's count 2-0, but this could be the chainsaw fastball. That little cutter he can throw up and in. There it is. Tough. 3-0 count. I wish more guys would swing at, because that might be the best pitch you get.
Where does he go on 3-1?
Good.
So you take the 3-0, 93-mile-an-hour fastball that was elevated. That could have been a pitch you can drive into the outfield. You take it. And now he throws a split finger. He's right back into the count, and he has multiple weapons to get you out.
Full count here to Wade. And Evaldi's payoff is lined to right for a base hit. Trammell will score. Diaz going first to third. It's a double for Wade. And the Astros take the lead.
Excellent job by Lamont Wade. Hangs in there, and it's a split finger. It's the 5th split finger of the at-bat, and the location just right down Broadway. Just rips it right past Jake Berger.
Well, that'll bring up Cam Smith. And he's wearing a mic for us here tonight.
We start at 7:10 or 7:15? It's looking like 7:15 the way they're moving. What are you smiling at? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, that gives you a great window into Smith's personality. Just a bubbly disposition. Up and down sophomore season for him, though. He was, of course, the key return in the Kyle Tucker trade with the Cubs prior to last season. They've been trying to get him going. Lays off an off-speed pitch from Evaldi.
Well, he sat down last week for a couple games, and sometimes that little breather is really important to a player.
Yeah, he sat during the entire 3-game series against the Marlins. Gave him time to work on that swing.
But I always found for guys that are accustomed to playing every day, sit down, watch the game, you can watch the game get slow again. You're like, oh wait, it's not as fast as I think it is.
Well,
things weren't weren't all that easy for Smith. Second half struggles last year, rookie season. Great in the field. I mean, Gold Glove finalist in your first year in the bigs. He had never played right field prior to last year. Wound up a Gold Glove finalist. But they've been tinkering with that swing for the better part of a year. And he smacks this third base side, flagged down by Duran. Pops to his feet and throws in time. What a play! Put a star next to that one. Ezekiel Duran saves a hit, saves at least a run.
At least a run. What a great play from Duran. He makes a diving play. They're not going contact. If they did, he'd probably throw him out at home. And then the arm strength from that low slot. And we saw Duran playing some short. Back to third with Seager back. Unbelievable play.
It's been a career season at the plate and in the field for Duran. Baseball Reference actually has it as him leading the team in wins above replacement. Flashing the leather there. Huge second out as the lineup turns over. And Jeremy Pena is plunked. And that'll load the bases for Yordan Alvarez.
Worst case scenario for the Texas Rangers is having nowhere to go with Yordan and the bases loaded. A little curveball sneaks away. You see Pena tuck in. You're totally allowed to do that.
Eovaldi 0 for 6 on first pitch strikes this inning, and they rise to their feet for the front runner for MVP.
And this is the baseball version of playing with fire.
Alvarez up the middle, base hit. One run is in. Here comes a second. The throw cut off. A two-run single for Alvarez, who comes through yet again. $3-0 Houston.
Just zero margin for error with Yordan right now. He is inevitable. Split finger, inside out swing. He's so big and so strong. Just rips it right past Corey Seager. And with 2 outs, to have a hitter like Yordan with no wiggle room, there's just nothing you can do. You hope he finds a way to hit it right at somebody. His swing, for being as big as he is, it's short, it's compact, it's powerful.
$82 runs batted in now. The only player in baseball with an OPS over 1,000. Isaac Paredes now. There was a big question mark about whether Alvarez would be able to play every day, considering his injury trouble last year. As Alvarez will watch this ball be caught in right by Nimmo. A fly out for Paredes to end the inning. Another couple RBIs.
Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes.
This is not a game, and you're not playing. Your struggle with type 2 diabetes is real, but so is your
win the American League West. It's been wide open all year. Surprisingly, the Astros with the third highest odds among the top three. This despite Seattle scuffling out of the All-Star break. They've lost 7 of 10. Fascinating series this weekend against the Twins, who refused to go away. But it feels like, Spilly, that the Astros are playing by far their best baseball of the year.
Well, they're finally healthy. Healthier. You know, getting Ronel Blanco back and Hayden Wesneski. Now you have Hunter Brown. They're hoping to get Spencer Arrighetti, who's dealing with a foot issue. The return of Josh Hader has been huge. Seeing Jeremy Pena back on the field.
And to get Hunter Brown performing like the ace that he is would be huge. Scooped up on a couple hops by Pena, and Nicky Lopez is retired. During the commercial break, Trisha Whitaker caught up with Joe Espada for our manager interview presented by Sage.
All right, Yordan Alvarez coming through, something you're so used to seeing. Does it ever get old watching him build this MVP caliber season?
Not at all. Right there when Jeremy got hit, you won the right guy at the spot right there. And, you know, Yordan is the right guy in that moment. You know, he stays within himself. He got a tough pitch to hit. He used the whole field, got a single. But he's phenomenal. The way he prepares, the way he executes, no one is better.
10 years ago this weekend, the Astros made that trade with the Dodgers, a lopsided trade. They won that trade. You are reaping the benefits of it.
Yes.
When you reflect, what do you think?
I'm glad we got him. He's one of the best, and I'm glad that we won that trade.
We love that. Joe Espada, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Trisha, you brought up a great point. Tomorrow marks the 10-year anniversary of Alvarez being traded as a teenager from the Dodgers to the Astros.
And I love the lore of this story. I mean, it was Josh Fields who was a reliever for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers had two Alvarezes in their system. They had Yordan, the outfielder, and then they had another Cuban pitcher named Yadier Alvarez. And the original story, as told, was that when Farhan Zaidi, who was the general manager at the time in 2016, when he heard that the Astros wanted Alvarez for Josh Fields, they said no. And then when they said it's for Yordan, he's like, oh, I thought they wanted Yadier.
High chop here from Austin Wins. Pena, 2 gone. Trisha?
Guys, Yordan reflected on that 10 years ago this weekend trade, and he told the media in an MLB.com article, he said, I remember being in my bed, somebody knocked on my door, they asked if I could go to the main office, they told me I was traded to the Astros, and he said my first thought was they fired me, because he admitted that he didn't even really know how trades worked at the time. He packed his things, and guys, he actually waited outside the Dodgers Academy. He called the Astros because they forgot to arrange transportation to their academy. Finally, a minivan came and picked him up for a 25-minute ride, and look at him now, guys. I love that story.
Rest is history. Lineup turns over here for the Rangers. Peterson batting for the second time. I think we've seen how important one player can be. Houston Astros team last year, he missed most of the year, Alvarez, and they wound up on the outside looking into the postseason picture. Came down to the final weekend of the year, but just think what a couple more runs might have done for the Astros during the season. They're hoping the same will be true this year, that if he's available, they win.
I mean, it's like, you see what's going on with the Yankees. They can't score, and they're missing Aaron Judge. And the Yankees lineup looks completely different when Judge returns. There's only a handful of teams that have one player that can turn the entire lineup and change the complexion of their lineup.
Yordan Alvarez trying to join this company, the only MVP winners in Astros history. Think Jose Altuve will be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Full count here to Jock Peterson. As Brown battles back from 3-0 and misfires for the second time against Peterson. 2-out walk to keep the inning going. And we talk about guys who can be difference makers single-handedly. Wyatt Langford may be one of those. Corey Seager, as we mentioned earlier, in his first game back in a month, waiting on deck as Langford bats here with 1 on and 2 out.
Well, Brown in his last outing did not walk a batter. 7 innings, 7 punch outs, no walks. That was against the White Sox, but the start before against Baltimore, he walked 6. And the start before that against the Rangers, he walked 5.
Langford shoots this up the middle. 2-out rally here for the Rangers, and the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Corey Seager.
It's a little cut fastball away from Wyatt, but he's so strong. Lowered his hands, gets him into slot a lot sooner.
Since mid-June, he's top 5 in the American League in OPS.
He rakes.
A couple of IL stints for him this year. Since coming back for the most recent one, he has really been raking. Seager singled in his first at bat in a month. Couldn't catch up to the heat there. 98 on the fastball from Brown.
I think it was Seager. I mean, everybody knows it. He loves to swing at the first pitch, but if it's a strike.
Another fastball that Seager's unable to touch. Browns 0-2. Got him. 3 whiffs from Corey Seager. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. And the 2-out rally is snuffed out. Lot of players on the injured list this year. Prior to Seager's return, they had 14 guys on the IL, tied for the most in the majors with the Cubs. Hasn't been as severe the highs and lows in Texas as they've seen here in Houston. Their high water mark in Arlington, 3 games over 500. Low water mark, 6 games under, but haven't been more than 3 games back of the division lead. And this week, after they took 3 of 4 from Seattle, the Rangers had a 2-game lead. They've just been humming along kind of around that 500 mark. But is there another gear? Can they go on a run?
There's a slow breaker from Evaldi. Doesn't usually bring that one out that often.
He's ahead in the count on Christian Walker. A 2-game lead for the Rangers in the AL West, their largest margin of the year. That's just come in the last week, as mentioned. Got back above 500 at the end of June with a 6-game winning streak. But since then, haven't been able to string together more than 2 in a row. Frustrating series against the Rays, as you mentioned, Spilly. Including a 1-run loss yesterday. Had a chance to tie it in the 9th. Tampa Bay pitching's been stellar lately.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Two to Walker. And he bounces one to short. Seager makes the play for the first out. During the break, Tricia caught up with Skip Schumacher for our manager interview presented by Sage.
All right, Corey Seager in his first at bat immediately showing his impact with that base hit. How happy are you to have him back?
It's nice to have him back, and we've waited a long time to have him back. It's nice to see him healthy and in the lineup again.
Ezekiel Duran, a very impressive defensive play, saved a hit and a run. You've called him a spark plug. Why?
Well, he's played every position except catcher. I mean, literally every position in a Gold Glove caliber way. I don't know where we'd be without him, especially with Corey out and now JJ out, and what a phenomenal play he just made.
That's why his nickname's The Solution, right?
He nicknamed himself that, but I'll take it.
We love it. Thank you so much, Skip.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Well, he's earned it if he's going to make a play like that in the field.
You want to come up with your own nickname?
Altuve rolls one Duran's way. And it's worth another look.
Oh, man, you have second and third with one out. No contact play, but you make this diving stop off Cam, and then you throw him out, who has great wheels by a half a step. He is the solution.
That's what the t-shirts say. There's Trammell with that Q shot double. Tricia, you have more on Duran?
Yeah, here's the backstory. Somebody jokingly called him the solution in the Dominican Winter League this offseason when he played 3 positions in one game. He said, last year in the Dominican for winter ball, I was playing too many positions in one game. Started at short, next inning at third, next inning in the outfield. He said one of his teammates just said, you're the solution. Say you can play everywhere.
Hey, if it sticks, it sticks. 1-2-3 inning for Evaldi. 3-0 Houston as we head to the 4th. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV is presented by Verilux lenses. Hot and humid outside. Luckily, they've got the icebox cranked inside Daikin Park.
They got Bobby Dynamite manning the big train up there.
We'll see if they put it in motion tonight. 4, 5, and 6 due up.
Here's Bobby.
Astros leading the Rangers 3-0 as we head to the 4th. Hunter Brown facing Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo pops this foul. Rangers with a half-game lead over the Astros, looking to win their first division title in a decade. Remember when they won the World Series in 2023, squeaked into the playoffs as a wild card. Nimmo with a fly ball, drifting towards the seats. Astros have had the better of this rivalry since 2022.
In a way, the Astros have owned the Texas Rangers. I mean, you go back to 2023, I remember at the last week of the year, they lose a division, barely squeak in, they go to Tampa, and you think, you know, hey, season's done. They're so disappointed with how the division loss occurred to them. And then they go on this incredible run. Relievers, Jordan Montgomery was amazing during that stretch.
Unprecedented, all the road victories.
And then, of course, you have the World Series where you have 2 teams in the Rangers and the Diamondbacks who had lost 100 games a year before.
Right. I think the expanded postseason has done exactly what it was designed to. Keep teams in the hunt. The Astros clinched the division on the final day of that 2023 season. Roared back, down 10 games in 2024. He thought it was ball 4. Strikeout number 4 for Hunter Brown.
Well, Diesel's just painting right now. A little two-seam fastball stuck right at the bottom by Diaz. Well received. Nimmo hoping that was going to be ball 4. It doesn't go his way.
Duran now with 1 out. I mentioned it's been a career season for him. Approaching a career high in homers, highest walk rate of his career. Tremendous defensive season. Chop to third. Paredes playing it on the grass for the second out.
I love the story of Hunter Brown. We've had him on Apple TV. We've interviewed him before. He went to Wayne State, was a walk-on there. He was told he could be a backup catcher. Hey, yeah, you can come over. You can be a backup catcher. And then he realized he had a great arm. Threw him on the bump. Wayne State is in Detroit.
Just up the road, actually, from stadium there, Comerica. In fact, Brown still lives in the Detroit area during the offseason. Still trains at the same place he did when he was just out of college. Loves pitching when he gets to go home. Of course, his idol growing up was Justin Verlander, who had a great tenure here in Houston. Ball and 2 strikes here to Evan Carter. In fact, if you hope to bump into a big leaguer in Metro Detroit during the depths of winter, it's more likely to be Brown than any active member of the Tigers. Carter smacks this foul. Again, the shoulder trouble earlier this season. Struggled with his command and control after coming back to the rotation. But when he's on, he is tough to beat. 3rd in AL Cy Young voting last year, behind Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet. Carter lays off.
And it's amazing how, I was pointing out, it's one pitch opened up the entire repertoire for Hunter Brown. It was just a two-seam fastball. It's not a great two-seam fastball. It just presents a different look.
Carter, bounding ball up the middle. Pena, long way to go to his left. Smoothly handled for a 1-2-3 fourth. Comedy returns for a new season, and Ted's biggest challenge yet, coaching a second division women's football team. Don't miss Ted Lasso. New season streaming August 5th on Apple TV. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Trisha Whitaker here with you in Houston. Astros and Rangers. Final series of the season between these two rivals. The Astros win. It'll put them in first place. It'll clinch the season series against the Rangers for a 3rd straight year. Rangers hoping that they can stay in first place. Kind of similar situation where they were last weekend, Texas, where they faced the Seattle Mariners, and at the time they were faced with a lot of questions. What's going to happen at the trade deadline? Is this team good enough to compete in the division? Houston is turning things around. Well, Then they took 3 of 4 over the Mariners, and now Seattle is seemingly fighting for their playoff lives.
I've asked a lot of different people, scouts, what they think of this division, and everybody keeps waiting for the Mariners to turn it on. I mean, you look at their roster, and it should be the Mariners' division to lose.
And we showed you those odds earlier. That's the thinking, right? But Seattle now 4 games under 500.
And I'll tell you, from a player's perspective, during this time frame, right before trade deadline, you tend to put a lot of weight on wins and losses, and it's unfortunate because it's another game during the course of the year. But you also have to put yourself in the shoes of a front office member.
Oh, excuse me, half swing from Yainer Diaz, and a ground out to Eovaldi. Bring up Lamont Wade Jr. as we take a look at this Adobe standout score for the second inning. A line drive double to score Taylor Trammell.
Yeah, it was a great at bat for Lamont. He got to a 3-0 count, took a fastball 3-0, and then got back into the account, and it was a one split finger miss that Eovaldi left for Lamont to hit.
Signed a prorated deal with the Astros on June 4th after being released from the White Sox. Actually, we were talking about that series the Astros and the Rangers played earlier this month. He had a big part of it. Hit a grand slam on July 11th. First career grand slam. Swings through that elevated fastball. And he's gone on 3 pitches. 2 down in the 4th. Cam Smith coming to the plate, wearing a mic for us.
I did. There's no luck there. Not an ounce of luck.
Spilly, I think I know the answer. Did you talk to yourself?
Every outfielder talks to themselves. There's no one else to talk to. You can't, you're not like a first baseman where you get some friends. You can talk to the umpire, first base coach, somebody gets on base.
Smith drives this one to right, sending Nimmo back. That ball's off the wall. Nimmo unable to handle it cleanly. And Smith is going to dig for 3. He's in there. A 2-out triple for Cam Smith. Sharply hit off the right field wall.
How about that for Cam Smith? He's whispering to himself, there's no luck. Well, there's a lot more luck when you barrel up a baseball opposite field, especially in this ballpark. Right field is short, hits high off the wall, and for Cam Smith, that is his second triple, and I cannot wait to hear our version of mic'd up when he gets a 3rd.
His last 4 hits have all gone for extra bases. It sets the table for Pena with 2 outs. Rolls it up the middle, base hits. And he drives in Houston's 4th run of the night. Jeremy Pena, the reigning AL Player of the Week, on fire since the All-Star game. And he extends the Astros lead.
Just when it felt like Nathan Eovaldi was starting to settle in, you get the first 2 outs. Cam Smith with the triple. Now you got Pena, to your point, red hot, and then now you have Jordan.
Hits in 12 straight games for Pena. And Alvarez 2 for 2 on the night.
The thing with Jordan is, you think of power hitter, he's a hitter. He's a true just hitter. and he's so intelligent, he will not come off of his plan. If you don't give him pitch to hit, he won't chase. 15% walk rate, only a 17% strikeout rate. Those are ridiculous numbers for a power hitter.
And he has thrived in this ballpark. Over a 1,200 OPS at home. And the Angels tried everything and failed when dealing with Alvarez this week. They walked him to load the bases on Monday late in the game. That backfired when the Astros had a 4-run rally for the comeback win. Then on Tuesday came up with runners on the corners and 2 outs in the 9th. They decided to pitch to him. He delivered a go-ahead RBI single.
I remember a story Tommy Lasorda shared when Pete Rose was red hot. I believe he told Mike Scioscia, the catcher at the time, just tell Pete every pitch that's coming. See if he gets himself out.
Alvarez is fan, the big K for Evaldi. Cam Smith with a triple and then scoring for the Astros. Leading the Drivers' Championship, and Lewis Hamilton close behind. You can watch every Grand Prix live with your Apple TV subscription. Apple TV, the new U.S. home of Formula One. We head to the 5th in Houston. Hunter Brown is rolling, as are the Astros. 4-0 the lead in this rivalry tussle. An Astros win gets them the season series and the silver boot over the Texas Rangers. Hunter Brown coming off a strong start in his last outing. Berger with a pop fly in foul ground. One gone in the 5th.
Well, you can certainly see with Hunter Brown, the demeanor around the mound has changed. I mean, he's stalking Rangers hitters. That's the reason why when you're playing defensively behind a pitcher with this kind of presence, you feel empowered. You hear around Major League Baseball win day. Certain starters, it's like you're winning today. That's what they feel. They see on the board, they're like, oh, Brown's going today? Heck yeah.
Remember, this pitching staff really struggled early in the season with injuries and performance, but the expectation was that if they could stay afloat, they'd get guys back. And we've seen that with Blanco coming back, with Wisniewski, you mentioned, made his season debut this week after Tommy John surgery. They did announce something interesting today, Houston, that Tatsuya Imai would be moving to the bullpen for the time being. On the ground from Nicky Lopez. Paredes shifted, gobbles it up. Astros have used 15 starting pitchers this year. That's the same number they used all of last year and the most in the majors this season.
Yeah, not a recipe for success. Anytime you start going further and further on your depth chart, you start using this many starters, that's when you start getting into your minor league system. And once you get in the minor league system, like the level isn't quite the same as your first 6 or 7 starters.
Brown is now retired 7 in a row. Starting with that big strikeout of Corey Seager with 2 on and 2 out in the 3rd. And No ball has left the infield since.
Just watch Hunter moving on the mound. This is what I'm talking about. When you see a pitcher and he's just kind of commanding, he's stalking, it's on his time.
One, two, broken bat, bouncer up the middle. Altuve handles and throws in time. 8 in a row retired by Hunter Brown. Still 4-0.
Friday night baseball. We're out here at the Crawford boxes. A very beautiful view out here. Happens to be a place where Isaac Paredes likes to deposit quite a few of his home runs, and perhaps Dana Brown and the analytics department in Houston knew exactly what they were doing when they traded for Isaac. He maximizes the short porch of their park, but that's nothing new for Isaac. It just happens to work incredibly well at this specific field. Paredes' chart is kind of like a singular laser path to the poolside. Every single one of his first 100-plus Major League home runs, guys, they've landed on the poolside. I think he's got a knack for it. What do you say?
Do you have a glove right now?
Get ready.
I know. I kept thinking, I'm like, how cool would it be if Isaac hit a home run out here while I'm standing here?
That would be really cool.
So long as you're looking alive out there, that's all.
I have no idea what you guys just said. What'd you say?
So long as you're looking alive, keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
It's on a swivel. I know I have a bad reputation of getting hit by foul balls, but it's on a swivel right now. I'm looking right at it.
Catcher's challenging the ball call.
Your phone nearly got destroyed earlier this year. I don't know how it's still standing. Challenge here.
Call is confirmed. Texas has 1 challenge remaining.
And not a good one from Austin Wins. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. 2 balls and a strike to Paredes. Including his walk in the first inning, has reached base in all but 1 game he's played in the month of July. He's a big reason why the Astros turn things around. Big month of June. And remember, coming into the season, his spot on this team was not exactly certain. They had a logjam in their infield. Take a look at a spray chart here with Paredes and the pulled home runs in his career, all 106. But coming into the season, it was unclear if he'd have a spot in the field. They had 5 infielders for 4 spots. And since the injury to Carlos Correa, it's simplified things quite a bit for the Astros, and Paredes has taken off as the year has gone on.
Yeah, I mean, for Joe Spotty, he had to figure out a way to manage, where guys played third and first for Paredes and DH. He also had to manage Jordan.
Left field, way back there, and gone. Another shot by Paredes into the Crawford boxes. Career home run number 106.
Well, for Isaac, I mean, this ballpark, it wasn't built directly for him, but he takes full advantage of it. And for Tricia in the Crawford boxes, she wasn't set up on the railroad tracks, because this was a no-doubter.
Undercounted by 1. That's career homer number 107.
Let's listen to this. I've talked to Isaac about his ability to pull the baseball and who was the person that encouraged him to pull, because a lot of times, if you hear about a straight pull hitter, who coached them, he said it was all him. He made the adjustment, he moved closer to the plate, and he knew he had the ability to pull a baseball.
Another challenge here from Wins.
Call's overturned. Texas has 1 challenge remaining.
I'll get this one. Trisha, you have more?
Yeah, guys, you talked about who encouraged him to do that. And when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays, I was with the Tampa Bay Rays, and their hitting coach, Chad Matola, always encouraged him to just be himself at the plate, and that's exactly what he did on that home run. And guys, I'm going to tell you, at the top half of the 5th inning, Isak came out here to third base, and I swear he looked over, and I kind of waved at him because he saw me up here, and I swear he's like, all right, I'm going to deposit one right over there where you guys are doing the report. So, hey, you know, if it works, it works. And he certainly delivered. A fan out here caught it. He had a glove. I did not. I was too far away, but it's certainly a highlight for him. He's sitting right in the front row.
Yeah. 15th of the season for Brady's, making it 5-0 Houston.
I mean, just you have to be completely comfortable pulling in your hands, which is exactly what Isak does. He just pulls his hands inside a baseball and lets the barrel follow. Oh, God.
Another one driven to the Crawford boxes. Christian Walker makes it back-to-back jacks. And it's 6-0 Houston.
The Rangers might be giving Nathan Eovaldi the boot. Back-to-back home runs. This is 110 miles an hour off the bat, just a laser on a split finger. And Christian Walker, that's his 22nd home run this year.
Virtually the same spot. Homers have been a huge issue for Eovaldi. Among all qualified pitchers, he's allowed the 2nd most homers of any starter in baseball this season, behind only Aaron Nola. 7th time the Astros have hit back-to-back homers this season.
And you know Altuve wants to get in on the action.
Altuve goes chasing there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the Astros aren't going to let Trisha leave the Crawford boxes. They're going to say stay out there.
At this rate.
You're asking earlier about Altuve as a Hall of Famer. The answer is yes. I mean, he is 34 hits away from 2,500 in his career. So has several years remaining on his contract. He has to average about 125 hits a season for 4 years, and he's there.
Altuve strikes out. First out of the inning. Trisha.
Yeah, guys, when I came up here and Isak Paredes hit that pull side home run up to the Crawford boxes, all the fans came over and they were like, you cannot leave. You can't leave. It worked when you came up here and did a report on Isak being a pull side hitter. And so I said, okay, I won't leave. And then what do you know? Another home run to the Crawford boxes. This place absolutely went crazy. And they were like, well, now you really can't leave until the end of the game.
Wait, but what did the Rangers fans, did the handful over there say? This is driven to center and Carter is underneath it.
I wouldn't say they were thrilled, but they also appreciated just one of those weird random baseball things that happens throughout the game. So they're baseball fans. They appreciated it. They had a smile on their face too, right?
Okay. If you say so.
That's serendipitous.
I say so.
Okay.
I say so. And both of the fans caught the ball, so that was pretty cool.
Okay. We can get on board with that. for a Rangers team that can ill afford having to ride their bullpen for an extended period of time, especially after a bullpen game yesterday. This is disaster to start a 3-game series. To right field and tailing foul.
And you know this too with Nathan Eovaldi. He's well aware of how many games this team has played and how much the bullpen has been used. He's a veteran. You know, he's had 90 pitches. He'll do everything he can to give Skip Schumacher and the Rangers everything he has.
And this is a base hit to left for Diaz.
When it goes to the curveball, it's a pitch he uses about 20% of the time to righties, and it's down. But Diaz, he just hooks it. And the problem that Nate has had is these 2-out rallies. Obviously, you get the back-to-back home runs with nobody out, but 4 of the runs scored today have been with 2 outs.
Wade behind 0-2. Luis Carvello warming in the Texas pen. Astros with 3 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and now 2 here in the fifth. And it'll be snagged in fair territory here by Berger to end the inning unassisted. Back-to-back homers for Paredes and Walker. And the Astros have breathing room, 6-0 over the Rangers. Reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. The Ryan Express. Nolan Ryan.
Also known as his right hand to Robin Ventura's head.
Still one of the most incredible moments, I gotta say, incredible moments in baseball history with Ventura charging the mound and Ryan having none of it.
I had that picture in my room growing up as a kid. It was one of my favorites. And only because, first off, Robin Ventura was a heck of a hitter. Went to Oklahoma State, set the national hit streak record. He grew up in San Luis Obispo area, which is north of where I'm from. And then, of course, Nolan Ryan, I loved him. So watching those two go at it. Nolan pitched for 27 years. Pitched until he was 46 years old.
Well, a special moment for Ryan came on this day 26 years ago. Career win number 300.
He was 43 years old.
36 years ago today.
Imagine that, 43 years old and led the American League in punch-outs. He had 232 that year. He had 301 the season before when he was 42.
Driven to right field, pretty deep. That ball is gone. Jock Peterson gets the Rangers on the board with his 20th homer of the year. And finally a breakthrough against Hunter Brown.
That's Jock Peterson's 20th home run of the season, and it comes off a knuckle curve. Putting a little life back into the Rangers dugout. For Jock, he just scooped it. Beat him to the spot, knew it off the bat. Jock Peterson has 238 career home runs.
He reaches the 20 homer mark for the 7th time in his career. Yeah, we're talking about the Rangers and where they're at approaching Monday's trade deadline. I thought Peterson had a great line when asked about it the other day, and this was coming off the series victory over the Mariners. He was asked, what do you think the Rangers should do at the deadline? He said, we're in first place. What more needs to be said? Obviously, the standings may change here tonight, but the Rangers are right in it.
Well, I love that take because you're talking about your teammates. In order to make a trade, that means you're saying somebody needs to go. And do they have needs? Of course they do. I mean, right now they're 29th in bullpen strikeouts per 9. That you need to have punch out. Outfield depth, yeah, they only have 31 home runs as a group. Would you like to have a platoon partner with Evan Carter? Sure. But from a guy within the clubhouse to ask him, how do we upgrade? That means you're throwing a teammate under the bus. And so we saw the same thing happen in Philadelphia, where Bryce Harper was asked, like, hey, what do you think you should do? And he was like, we need to make moves. We need to add here and here. And for some players within the clubhouse, get an eye roll.
Wait.
Strike 3 on the corner. One gone in the 6th. As Wyatt Langford takes a seat, and Corey Seager will bat for the 3rd time tonight.
Skip Schumacher is coming out really quick. He's trying to talk to Clint Vondrak just because he saw Wyatt Langford ask for a challenge, and I believe Clint said it took too long.
Funny thing is, at least from what we've seen, he would have been wrong anyway.
So you see that Langford hasn't asked yet. He kind of turns around, and then he goes for the challenge.
Driven to center field by Seager. Pretty deep. That ball's off the wall. Seager heads to second. He's in there standing up with a 1-out double. So I wonder if there's going to be clarification at some point, whether it's based on an audio signal, because you could hear Clint Vondrak behind home plate ring up Langford, and then he did the motion of strike 3. Which should it be based on?
To me, it's always been timing. I mean, if you have a quick challenge, there's no debate. I saw this the other day.
But like, are you doing it based on an audio signal of strike 3 or the motion of a strike?
Well, for the hitters, it doesn't, like, for us, we want the motion. For the hitter, like Tim McClellan, longtime umpire, he would say it immediately. He'd say, yes, strike, and then he'd have this long pronounced strikeout call. So it's from the audible sound of Clint, you got a challenge right after that. Corey Seager, he's swung at every pitch he's seen today.
Yeah. It's 2 for 3 in his return. Brian Gorman, former Major League umpire, is with us. What is the guideline right now on how to challenge?
Well, the challenge has to be immediate. That's the quote, immediate, without any help from the dugout. Sometimes somebody will yell challenge. That's going to negate the challenge. You can't have any help other than what the batter, catcher, or pitcher want. So he has to do it immediately. If there's any kind of delay, the umpire is allowed to say, no, you waited too long.
Now, is that based on an audio signal or a hand motion from the umpire?
Either one.
Okay.
It could be either one. Most of the time, the catcher can say something and you don't know it, and then hit his helmet. But there's got to be some kind of signal for a challenge immediately after the call is made.
Okay. I'm wondering if further clarification would be needed for that rule. It's just my take. Watching that in real time, because the challenge was immediate based on the motion. Obviously, it came after the audio from the umpire. Wade makes the catch here and left, retiring Nimmo. And again, in that situation with Langford, the pitch was on the corner. Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Correct. I mean, this last week I was in San Diego, and there was a challenge that was not granted by the home plate umpire, but a lot of it had to do with the Padres dugout. The second the pitch went through the strike zone, the entire dugout was screaming, and so it wasn't awarded as a challenge, and it led to Craig Stammen getting tossed out.
I think we've seen, of all the manager ejections, I feel like the timing of the challenge has led to at least a half dozen. Ezekiel Duran here.
And in general, I mean, we say this week after week when it comes to this ABS challenge system, it has created a couple things here. Number one, dugouts are not as loud. You used to argue balls and strikes from the first pitch on. Now umpires say, if you want to argue balls and strikes, challenge.
Duran, slow bouncing ball, and it will be foul. It was a little risky there for Paredes.
Yeah, it is very close to hugging the line. As soon as he sees it go on the other side of the white line.
I feel like this might be a big batter here for Hunter Brown, with the lefty Evan Carter due up, and Brown approaching 100 pitches.
Well, season high for pitches was 103, but you're right.
One more strike here, and he'll be through 6 with a 5-run lead. One and 2 to Duran. A spoiled foul.
Come on.
.100 pitches for Hunter Brown. Another 1-2 on the way. And Duran shoots this to right, and will reach the seats. Actually, will reach the screen.
Good little battle right now for Duran and Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown just trying to put Duran away.
Duran, top 5 in the American League average with runners in scoring position. 0 for 2 on the night. Another 1-2 and another foul ball. Rangers as a team have been solid with runners in scoring position this year. 7th best average in baseball. Team slugging percentage has ticked higher as the summer has gone on. And Duran pops it up back of home plate. It'll reach the seats. Great battle here. what could be Hunter Brown's last batter.
Yeah, there's no question this is the last batter, and for Diesel, he's not out of gas, but from an optics and from a protection of Hunter Brown, this is it. Durant's putting up a heck of a battle. He's already now, this will be his 104th pitch. This will be a season high.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Here it comes. And Duran with a high chop, third base side. Paredes has no play.
I'm out.
You're not going to believe me when I tell you Paredes was just lost in the lights. Watch this. This ball gets chopped. It goes high enough that it ends up going directly in the lights. That's why you see him turn his head.
Yeah. Wow. Hunter Brown's night is done, and the Rangers are threatening.
Believe me when I say an infielder lost a ball in the lights, and that's exactly what happened to him. Hunter Brown's expecting that to be the last out of the inning. Can't believe it.
It's ruled a single. Seager advances to third, and now Evan Carter against the new pitcher Enyel De Los Santos. The Astros bullpen has gotten a lot better as the year has gone on, coinciding with the return of Josh Hader at the back of the bullpen. Can they get to those guys at the back between Hader and King and Okert, among the best relievers in baseball the last few weeks?
Yeah, and Brian Abreu has not been anywhere near what he was a year ago. But Hader's helped slot the rest of the pen. De Los Santos, it's a 3-pitch mix. Changeup is his favorite weapon to lefties. Uses the changeup sparingly to righties. But it's 4-seam slider changeup.
He and AJ Blueball relied a lot upon earlier this season as they were trying to figure out the mix of guys to get outs late in games. But since mid-May, they've gotten better, and especially since mid-June when Hader returned. Carter, a base hit to right field. Seager will score. And the Rangers are chipping away. 6-2.
How about that turn of events? Durant threw this great at bat together. Basically could have grounded out to end the inning, loses it in the lights. And then Carter comes through with the knock. And the Rangers are not going to go away easy. You know that. Now, if there's their home run threat, Jake Berger, he's one home run away from 20. And those Crawford boxes are screaming.
Swing from Berger, trying to get to 20 for the 3rd time in his career. Since joining the Rangers last year, he's been the best home run hitter on the team. Berger, hard ground ball to third. Paredes wins a foot race to the bag, but the Rangers are on the board. 6-2. Smith coming to the plate against the Rangers bullpen. How will the game plan work out?
And he's definitely coming in. He's warming up. Just keep hitting it hard. You're doing everything right. Stick with the plan.
Stick with the plan. That's the word. Nathan Eovaldi did all he could. Extended his outing to 5 innings and now gives way to the Rangers bullpen. Luis Carvello out of the pen for Texas.
A 9th appearance for Luis. He just got recalled today.
Rangers have actually added a bit to their bullpen depth in recent days, making a trade earlier this week, acquiring Chase Silseth and catcher Logan O'Hoppe from the Angels. They option O'Hoppe to AAA. Silseth is in the bullpen for the Rangers tonight. It would be available.
Well, how about before the game today, talking with Joe Spada, he was mentioning Cam Smith as being the hardest worker he's ever had. That is some incredibly high praise. I was shocked to hear it. I mean, he's only 2 years removed from college.
Former first-round pick of the Cubs. Work ethic cannot be replicated.
Nope.
What you get out of it depends on whether it's quality or quantity. But the proof you can see with his work in the field. And now the question is, can he do the same at the plate? Because you can psych yourself out hitting, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could have the greatest game plan ever, and then you walk up to the plate, and that game plan's out the window the second the pitch is thrown.
He stuck with it his last time. Oh, he strikes out here. The end of the mitt of Austin Wynns. One gone here in the 6th. Let's send you to the studio. Sierra Santos with an update from around the league. Sierra.
Hey guys, D-backs and Guardians. Cleveland entered today in the 3rd and final wildcard spot in the American League with a 1-game lead over the Twins and Astros. So the game was tied at 1 in the 8th inning until Gabby Moreno hits one into right. D-backs go on to win 4-1, which means Cleveland now has a half-game lead for the final wildcard spot. Let's get it back to you guys in Houston.
All right, Sierra. American League wildcard remains wide open. And the Twins are in action playing the Mariners tonight. That's going to be fascinating. They just got underway in Seattle. The Mariners fall into 2.5 back in the wild card.
Isn't that amazing, Alex? The other day we're looking at the standings, and he had 21 teams, 21 of the 30 within 3 games of a playoff spot.
Well, there are 6 series taking place this weekend in which both teams are within 2.5 games of a playoff spot. This is what baseball, when they adopted this format, wanted for this juncture of the season. To have more teams in the hunt.
Well, and it's created a problem, or in a way, an opportunity. If you're a team that's out of it, you have players right now, they're scarce if you want an upgrade, just because you have 21 teams that aren't sure if they're buyers or sellers.
We saw the Twins say definitively that they want to be buyers on Monday, which I thought was quite a bold statement by ownership and management there. And I guess you figure if you've hung around this long, even when Brian Buxton hurt again. And with a year that just has been sideways, most of it, for Minnesota. That may have raised some eyebrows.
Well, and the trade deadline comes where it leaves about 50 games left in the season.
In the air to center field. Carter underneath it. Retires Jeremy Pena. Now to bring up Yordan Alvarez. We take a look at our scouting report presented by Car Shield and the mid-season ranks according to MLB Pipeline on the Rangers and Astros minor league systems. You take a look at some of the top-ranked prospects, but neither farm system is ranked all that high. And if either one of these teams are going to be aggressive, you wonder how big the price will be and whether it involves major league players going the other way.
And I usually look at those prospect lists with a grain of salt. I mean, just because you're 25th or 29th doesn't mean you don't have players that can acquire somebody in return.
Yordan Alvarez was an unknown commodity when he was dealt from the Dodgers 10 years ago this weekend. Just never know. Some of these guys are so young. As Alvarez flies this one to left field, and it will hook foul. Alvarez at the time of that trade was a teenager who had just defected from Cuba. The player he was traded for, reliever Josh Fields, only spent 2 more years in the majors. Alvarez, who had just established residency in Haiti. I have a challenge here on this borderline pitch.
But I understand the challenge right here. They're probably going to lose. But you're just doing everything you can to try to get Yordan out. So now the Rangers are completely out of challenges.
Ball 4.
That's ball 4. Clearly being careful. 2-out walk for Alvarez. Well, the Astros with Paredes and Walker hit back-to-back homers. Let's take a look at pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Yeah, a little split finger inside to Isaac Paredes, his 107th pull home run, and then Christian Walker, a batter later, gets another one, and this one went hard off the wall. Back-to-back home runs for the Astros. The Astros have hit 153 home runs on the year.
Our top 3 in baseball in that department. It's interesting. Dana Brown said prior to this season he felt like their offense had lost its identity last year. They got away from deep counts and hitting for slug. And he said those are the things they wanted to get back to this season. I'd say it's job done.
Well, and a big reason why is Isaac Paredes. He takes so many pitches per plate appearance. I mean, you do have, a year ago, there were so many hitters in there that were swinging the first 3 pitches. And then you had one Isaac.
Oh, that's up.
And if you're to survey the audience, the 2 players in the lineup that give you the most consistent at bats night in, night out is Yordan and Isaac Paredes.
Paredes has now seen 20 pitches tonight. And number 21 is ball 4 to put him aboard by way of a walk for the 2nd time.
And that's what makes Isaac so valuable, is seeing pitches, taking walks. Doesn't punch out. And now you have Christian Walker with an opportunity to just kind of stick a fork in the Rangers tonight if he has another big swing in him.
It is 22nd of the year in the 5th inning. Can Carvello get out of this jam? He's been up and down for the minors all season long, allowing runs in 5 of his last 7 appearances at the major league level. New pitch com being delivered to Austin Wins behind home plate. After Nathan Eovaldi allowed a season high 6 runs, but gutted out 5 innings. Try and give the Rangers a chance here. We talked about an area of need for the Rangers, and the bullpen is one of those. Bullpen has cost them a couple of games lately. Jacob Junis just got placed in the IL this week. In the air from Walker, but Carter is there, and the inning is over, and the threat passes for the Astros. It's a 4-run game as we head to the 7th. 4-7. MLB.tv now available at a new low price for the rest of the season. Visit MLB.tv for details. And a reminder that Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to make the game more accessible. To find a league near you, go to playball.org today. The 7th inning, Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Trisha Whitaker here with you. Daikin Park in Houston. Astros looking for their 9th win in a 10-game span, and they can take over first place in the AL West. Coming back from 7 games below 500 just after the All-Star break. They were as many as 6 games out of the division lead this season. As we have a challenge here from Yainer Diaz behind home plate. Nicky Lopez batting for the Rangers. And Diaz gets the call overturned for a strike.
Well, Nicky Lopez has been a really nice story for the Texas Rangers. I mean, he comes over, immediately starts hitting. He does all the little things right.
You want to talk about a guy who's living out of a suitcase, seemingly. Bounced around between 8 different organizations since being traded by the Royals to the Braves in 2023. And you're right, he has been huge for the Rangers since his arrival. Lopez with a fly ball to center. Trammell going back. He backpedals and makes the catch in front of the track. Well, the Houston Astros have faced a bit of, let's say, fan frustration the last couple of years. And especially as we lead into the trade deadline on Monday, these are some of the names who have departed in recent years.
That's crazy too. You look at Kyle Tucker and the numbers he's putting up with the Dodgers, not great. You know, Justin Verlander, we know he's going to retire after this year, hasn't pitched much. The one that they might miss the most is Mauricio Dubon, and that was a trade for Nick Allen. Dubon has been really important for the Braves. The Braves, Walt Weiss has told that to us numerous times, like, hey man, Mauricio Dubon has meant the world to the organization.
I think it goes back further too. With the pinch hitter here for Texas, the Astros are now going to go to their bullpen. Names like Garrett Cole, George Springer. The Astros, maybe this is a year that they push all their chips in. Back to Houston right after this. A pinch hitter in the form of Alejandro Ozuna. He picked up a bat. The Astros countered, and now Texas has countered again with Elias Diaz, who probably would have been coming into the game anyway behind the plate. But he bats here against Bennett Sousa, who had some injury woes earlier this season out of the pen for the Astros.
It's always interesting when you end up using 3 players for one spot. And for the Rangers, they've been raving about Diaz, especially from his ability to catch and throw. You know, he does a lot of damage. Saw him in Colorado where he really established himself, became an all-star, was an all-star MVP in Seattle. He just eclipsed 10 years of service time.
Yeah, 35 years of age for Venezuela. And he is quickly retired.
There's this little slider down and in, really well located. Diaz loves the fastball.
He was trying to put that one in the Crawford boxes where he hit about 7 of them during BP today. Another pinch hitter here in Justin Foscue, who will spell Jock Peterson. Now Texas has just 1 man left on their bench.
On the numbers for Jock Peterson against lefties this year, it's only been 26 bats, but a 154 batting average versus 262 and all the damage Jock has done.
And especially knowing that the high leverage relievers are lefties for the Astros. Rangers have done this a lot this year. Top 5 in pinch hit at bats in baseball this season. Skip Schumacher in his first season as Rangers manager. Former manager of the year with the Miami Marlins in 2023. Took a team that was kind of stitched together that year and got them to the postseason when nobody expected it. Foscue with a high fly ball drifting towards the seats. Wade gives it a look, but it'll be a foul ball for Justin Foscue. Schumacher among the many new managers this year.
If you look at the life of a major league manager in the last 20 years, I mean, guys are not lasting long.
Foscue with a high fly ball left field. Wade in front of the Crawford boxes will make the catch. Quick couple outs for Sousa. Time to get up and stretch in Houston. Just like that.
That timing's already locked in.
Payoff is line to right for a base hit. Alvarez, who comes through yet again.
This was a no-doubter.
Another one, back-to-back jacks. And we welcome you inside here at Dyken Park. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborgh's here with you. We head to the bottom of the 7th. The Astros up by 4 and looking to take first place in the division.
Yeah, deep in the heart of Texas. I mean, this Astros team, I just ran into Dana Brown in the break, and he was talking about this group finally being healthy, playing a brand of baseball that Dana and Astros fans are accustomed to. They're not used to losing. This organization for the last 10 years has been at the top of the American League, and they're just not accustomed to being in a spot like they have been. Looks like Altuve will ground out to second.
Last year they missed the playoffs in game number 161. It snapped an 8-year playoff streak, second longest active streak in baseball at the time. Elias Diaz remains in the game for the Rangers. 7 straight appearances in the ALCS for the Astros. 1 shy of tying a major league record set by the Braves during their heyday in the 90s. And no team has appeared in more postseason games since 2017 than the Astros.
Yep.
Well, they had World Series title in 2017. They had another one in 2022. But if you ask Astros fans, the best team out of that group was 2019. And it took everything that the Washington Nationals had to beat them. It took a Max Scherzer, took a Howie Kendrick home run down the right field line.
At the plate. This Astros team looking to win another division title. Glanced off home plate umpire Clint Von Wright. 4 AL pennants in a 6-year span.
Yep.
Remarkable. And if not for a pretty significant cheating scandal in 2017, how different the perception might be around this franchise and the consideration of it as a dynasty as Trammell strikes out here. They want to continue this run desperately. And we think of the Dodgers right now as the standard, but for so many years this Astros team was the one to beat.
That's why the World Series that they won in 2022 kind of dispelled any sort of criticism from the outside, because what are you talking about?
That's why it was a shame that it had to happen in the first place, because they were so good. They didn't need it.
They didn't need it. You're right. But it came at a cost. And we saw A.J. Hinch lose his job. Carlos Beltran lost his job as a New York Mets manager. He just got into the Hall of Fame this weekend. It was an amazing Hall of Fame speech.
Oh, look out. Yainer Diaz. Another one deep to left. Nearly on the train tracks. Liftoff in the late innings for the Astros. Their 3rd homer of the night. And the lead is 5.
You get a little more breathing room for the Astros. You get a 5-run lead. But all 3 home runs today have been no doubters. Came on a slider, 105 off the bat for Diaz. That's his 8th.
Oh, what's up?
The 22nd time the Astros have hit 3 or more homers in a game. That's the most in baseball. And when they're slugging, they win. Yainer Diaz inching ever closer to the franchise record.
Oh, what's up?
He also missed time with injury earlier this year. Lamont Wade bats. And you wonder if that homer for Diaz is the knockout blow, especially with the best of the Houston bullpen yet to come.
And they had the day off yesterday, so they're well rested.
It's ball 4 to Wade.
And the thing today with the Astros, I mean, it's 4 2-out RBIs or 4 2-out runs scored. Those are backbreakers. You're an out away from getting out of an inning without a run given up.
Lucas Spence has been playing a fair amount of outfield lately for the Astros. Will come into the game, and Wade will be lifted.
It's been a big week for Lucas Spence. Had his Major League debut last week, had his first hit, then he had a chance to go home, play in front of friends and family in Chicago. Great story. Undrafted, small school.
23-year-old rookie. Bryce Matthews is on the IL, so he's been getting some playing time. Cam Smith. Smith pops this up, foul ground. Diaz ran into the home plate umpire there trying to find that foul ball, reaches the seats.
Well, one of the biggest things for a hitter to improve their numbers is to increase bat speed. And for Cam Smith last year, that bat speed was right around 74.5 miles an hour, better than league average. But this year, he's increased it by about 3 miles an hour. A lot of it has to do with strength, training, how you go about it. There's a direct correlation between bat speed and slugging percentage.
Off the hands, softly into left, and down for a base hit. Cam Smith said he credited Carlos Correa for really helping streamline his off-season thought process with how he was working out, how he went about scouting prior to a series.
Just love listening to Cam throughout the game. We have him mic'd up, and he's been, in the outfield talking to himself. Positive affirmations, reminding himself to stick to the plan.
Line to left, base hit for Jeremy Pena, and this will bounce all the way to the wall. This could be the knockout blow. 2 runs come home. Largest lead of the night for the Astros.
And they have just poured on 2-out rallies all night. Jeremy Pena has been red hot.
Cam Smith coming around to score from first on a 2-run double for Jeremy Pena as they intentionally walk Yordan Alvarez. th intentional pass, most in baseball.
I don't see why you pitched him if you don't have to. Problem is now you got Isaac Paredes. He's already hit a homer. By the way, I will pay money to have Cam Smith mic'd up every night.
high pitch. Rangers are out of challenges. This is driven to left field, but it will hook foul. That would have brought the house down. Goodness, where did that land?
Across the street. You can just tell Luis is basically out of gas now. He's at 50 pitches.
He's just trying to survive another inning. Rangers just need their relievers to wear it today so that they have fresh bodies for the rest of the weekend. As mentioned, this is an area of need, as it was back in 2023 when they won the World Series. Opposite field, and it's double digits for the Astros.
Two quick outs this inning, and the Astros just poured on 4. Isak just swinging a magic wand, just shooting it to right field.
A ground out from Altuve, a strikeout for Trammell, and then came Diaz's home run. And Crivello has not retired a man since. Astros are now 6 for 10 with a runner in scoring position tonight. On the season, they're 15th in that category. Since the All-Star game, they're 10th, and over the last 9 games coming in, the Astros are hitting .328 with runners in scoring position.
Pretty crazy. I mean, .241 batting average coming into tonight with runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and that number is going to balloon.
This should end the inning mercifully. Nimmo makes the catch. Walker is retired. The Astros have blown it wide open. Learn more about Verilux XR series and find your local Essilor expert today at Essilor.com. Houston bringing A.J. Blueball into the game as a workhorse for them of the first half of this season. But now that they've had some reinforcements come into this Astros bullpen,
let's put him in a better spot.
Yeah.
He's now 41 appearances for AJ.
First pitch swinging here for Wyatt Langford. And the new center fielder for the Astros, and Lucas Spence, makes the catch. Taylor Trammell moves to left, and Nick Allen comes in at second base. Pitch hitter here for Texas as they empty their bench. Cam Cauley.
Makes sense for Skip Schumacher to pinch hit for Corey Seager. I don't think anything's wrong with it. It's just 8-run lead. Get him off his feet, first game back.
I'd say it's a successful return for Seager. Going 2 for 3, a couple of hard hit balls, took a lot of good cuts.
Swung at everything.
Yeah, literally.
Rangers tomorrow, interesting matchup. You get Ronel Blanco against Jacob deGrom. And then on Sunday, they haven't decided quite yet who's starting for the Astros. They're not sure if it's Peter Lambert or if they're going to push Lambert back to Monday with regular rest. It'll be Rocker against TVA.
I mean, over the last week, the Rangers had gotten better starting pitching. Skip Schumacher said last week everything for them begins with starting pitching because their offense hasn't been as consistent as they'd like. And deGrom gave him 5 solid innings against Seattle. Rocker 6 2/3 against Seattle. Cal Quantrill stepped in, gave him 5 1/3 against Tampa Bay. Hard luck loss for Mackenzie Gore against Tampa, and then a bullpen game that they had a chance to win yesterday. And you got the feeling, talking with some of the Rangers folks, that that's one they'd like to have back. Because especially tonight, by dropping the opener here to the Astros and losing the division lead now. This Texas team behind the 8 ball once again as Cawley goes around. Well, let's cap off the night looking at our game summary. Presented by Blue Moon. Seager's return, a productive one.
Yeah, base hit very first at bat. He ends up striking out his second bat on 3 pitches to Hunter Brown, and then first pitch he sees in his third at bat, it's a double off the wall, no problem.
Thank you.
There's been some simmering discontent in the Metroplex with all the time that Seager has spent on the injured list. 10 IL stints since the start of 2023. And we showed you the graphic earlier. It's not just one issue, it's a variety of injuries.
Well, there's no question when he is healthy and on the field, he's very productive.
Indispensable when in the game, but for a big ticket, it's hard to swallow when spending so much time on the shelf. Mac Engel in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram said it was just getting tiresome to see all the injuries year after year.
Well, it's frustrating for the player too.
And again, when he's healthy, this is from 2022 to 2025, wins above replacement. You can debate whichever model you want to use, but Corey Seager is among the best in baseball. Full stop. On the ground from Nimmo, and it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for blue ball. The Astros in command.
I never had a chance to meet Ryan, but I watched him play every day because I wanted to be like him. He played with respect, he played with toughness, and he played with a quiet fire. And I hope he knows that a lot of us who came after him play that way as well.
Jeff Kent with an emotional speech and in the Hall of Fame, talking about the late Ryan Sandberg and how much of an inspiration he was to Kent's career. Part of an Astros team that was 1 win away from a pennant in 2005. Nicky Lopez, position player, goes from second base to pitcher. So the Astros, or the Rangers rather, lose the DH. Kent, Beltran, Andrew Jones, the Hall of Fame class. So I asked you earlier, Spilly, if you think Jose Altuve will be in the Hall of Fame. And speaking of Ryan Sandberg, I'd say it's a pretty uncanny comparison.
Yeah, if you believe that Ryan Sandberg is a Hall of Famer, then there's no question you believe that Jose Altuve is a Hall of Famer, and I do too. I mean, I just look at Altuve, his body of work, how he's evolved, his story.
Well, Lopez is an infielder, so might want to take the catch. But for Altuve, is it, case closed at this point in his career?
I think so. I think he can be done today, and he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, the 3,000 hits, which I think he has a chance to get to. There's been, what, 33 players in the history of Major League Baseball to get to 33 hits. Altuve might want to bat against Nicky Lopez so he can try to get one.
Yeah, right. 2,466 for Altuve. Yainer Diaz adds one to his tally. He's now 4 for 5 tonight. Altuve, in terms of homers by second baseman, pretty good company, including the Hall of Famer Jeff Kent at the top of this list.
Well, I felt like Jeff Kent, it was long overdue for him. I mean, this was a wrong that the Riders had wrong for a long time. It took his last year to get into Cooperstown. And he was an interesting, conversation based on, personality. Was he great to media? No. Does that matter? No. You don't want to leave out the record holder for second base in home runs. That's a glaring omission. Now I'm waiting for Lou Whitaker to get into the Hall of Fame.
It's a base hit up the middle for Lucas Spence. And a run will come home. I feel like with the way that the game has evolved, so too is our thinking around what qualifies as a Hall of Famer, because it used to be there were certain markers in terms of hits, homers, for pitchers, wins.
Yeah, I think the benchmarks are unattainable now. 3,000 wins, 300 strikeout, 300 wins. It's just not possible. Guys don't play long enough to reach some of those benchmarks. And part of it, like if you go back and you think of the Hall of Fame, the first Hall of Fame class was Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Walter Johnson. Like that was the bar. The bar is impossible to beat those guys.
Well, if I gave you a blind resume for Altuve, right? 2-time World Series winner, 9-time All-Star, 7-time Silver Slug, ALCS MVP, American League MVP. Like, there's no question. And I'm sure that if you look at accolades like that for other players, you're going to find other cases where contemporaries viewed them in a light that was worthy of the Hall of Fame, even if the counting stats didn't measure up. And Corey Seager, right? 5-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 2-time World Series MVP. I don't know if that's Hall of Fame caliber, but play a few more years, who knows? Jordan Alvarez, right? 4-time All-Star, World Series winner, Silver Slugger, might win a Triple Crown, right? Who knows later on in a career where that'll land you. Alvarez is going to be lifted for the pinch hitter here, Zach DeCenzo. Not saying that any of these guys are guaranteed now, but the thinking will change over time.
It should. It certainly should. Curious what Cam Smith is saying after he struck out against Nicky Lopez, because there's a lot of smiles coming from the Astros bench. You kind of like, you get a position player in the game. This is when the game gets sideways. I found myself the most nervous facing a position player.
You didn't want to be that guy that made out.
Usually when you get to first base, if you do get a hit, it's a sigh of relief. And right now you have butterflies. If you're Zach right now, you can ask him.
I wonder anymore if it's worth it to get to a stage in the game where you have a position player pitching.
Just wave the white flag?
Yeah. Because The player probably doesn't want to be doing it. The hitters are inflating their stats. Doesn't make the final box score look any cleaner. If the outcome's already decided, why bother? Off the glove of Lopez, and it will still result in an out and end the inning. It's a heck of a play. How close was this? Hey, two sides every coin though, and even though this is garbage time, this might be an important time for Brian King, who has really struggled of late. First pitch swinging for Ezekiel Duran, and it's a foul ball. Struggled against the Rangers earlier this month, got knocked around for 4 runs his first appearance. Then another one in his second appearance in 2 innings of relief. In fact, he's given up at least 1 run in his last 5 appearances. Off the hands, soft fly ball. And Cam Smith records the out. Well, he had to face a position player last half inning, of course.
I've never hit off of a position player. Do I chop at it like a sword or play like softball, slow pitch softball? Yeah.
Slobbing it there, you're like daddy hats.
Yeah, that's right. Of course.
Is that how you felt?
Yeah.
Nice shovel play made by Nick Allen to retire Evan Carter. And the Rangers are down to their final out. Now for the Astros, they got to Nathan Eovaldi. And with the Rangers bullpen already taxed, that was more than enough. Season high 6 runs allowed by Eovaldi. And the long ball, a part of the story for the Astros, as they will leapfrog their rivals and claim the silver boot for the 3rd straight year.
And if there's any silver lining for today's game for the Rangers is that they did only use 1 reliever. And you're playing for a series win. So you got DeGrom tomorrow, you have Rocker on Sunday, and you should have a fresher bullpen.
Berger chops this to left and through for a base hit.
Now on the other side, the Astros have had to use 4 relievers in a start that they had Hunter Brown. The Rangers will lose the head-to-head now. They had to sweep the Astros to get the advantage. So now Astros have the head-to-head advantage.
Post a season high 18 hits today. Texas down to their final strike. As mentioned, this could be a meaningful moment here for Brian King to get back on track. And why that tiebreaker is important with the realignment of the schedule the last couple of years. That is the determining factor after 162 games. There is no game 163 anymore. And as a result, this game essentially gives the Astros a half game in the standings at the end of the year. At least over Texas, not over Seattle. By the way, speaking of the Mariners, they're up 3-2 on the Twins in the 4th inning.
The Twins just made a trade for Dean Kramer from Baltimore.
Lopez lines out to Paredes, and the ball game is over. The Astros are back in first place for the first time since early April. And back above 500 for the first time since early April.
Joe Espada talked about how his Astros group was playing good baseball. We saw that tonight. In this version of the Astros with Jeremy Pena at the top, the Jordan, the favorite to win an MVP, they're looking like a wagon again. All smiles for the Astros.
Playing their best baseball by far. They've won 9 games in a 10-game span. And for Texas, who's dropped 3 of their first 4 series out of the break, they dropped the opener here in Houston. As we take a look at tonight's PNC play of the game, this home run by Isaac Paredes. We were talking about it. Trisha was talking about it over in the Crawford boxes, and it went right that way. Isaac Paredes, 107 career homers, every single one of them to the pull side. Part of a night where the Astros hit 3 long balls and posted 11 runs to take game 1 of this 3-game series. Trisha down to the field with Paredes.
All right, Isaac Paredes, 107 pull-side home runs for you. How were you able to do so much damage in that spot with your swing path and your approach?
107 jonrones puleados, ¿cómo tú puedes hacer tanto daño en esa específica situación, pulear la bola tanto como tú, en la trayectoria de tu bate?
Bueno, ese es mi approach, darle adelante a la bola, y creo que es mi swing. Mi swing ya está para el lado de pulear la pelota, y creo que se me da muy bien.
That's my approach, just get in front of the ball, and I think the way that my bat path is constructed, that's my game, so that's what I try to do. That's my approach, just to pull the ball.
Then an opposite field hit gets you another RBI. How much pride do you take in being able to threaten pitchers both ways?
Después diste un giro y impulsaste la carrera con un giro en el lado contrario. ¿Cómo se siente poder hacer daño de los dos lados?
Bueno, fue un approach de poner de juego la pelota, y la pelota me dictó batearla para allá, y gracias a Dios salió seguido.
It's an approach that I take. You know, the approach in that situation told me to take the ball that way, so that's the approach that I took, which was drive the ball the other way. That's what the game dictated and the pitch dictated.
Isaac, we were out in the Crawford boxes doing a live report on how you hit a lot of pull-side home runs. Did you just see us out there and say, I'm going to give them a show on Apple TV?
Cuando tú diste el honrón puleado para allá, ellos estaban haciendo un reporte de cómo tú haces los honrones puleados, y estaban allá atrás en los bleachers. ¿Cómo tú los viste a ellos? ¿Diste una señal que los viste a ellos?
No, la verdad no, desconozco eso, no lo miré, pero me imagino que la gente está esperando siempre el jonrón a las sillas de Crawford.
Truthfully, I didn't know you guys were out there, but I feel like people are always waiting for me to hit a ball out there.
Isaac, you know how big this series is. You know where you guys sit in the division. You know that it's up for grabs here in the last couple months. How important was this game and this win?
Tú sabes la importancia de este juego, que la división está ahí para nosotros cogerla. Y tú sabes que esta serie es bien importante. ¿Cómo se siente esta serie y poder sacarle la victoria en este primer juego?
Contento. El primer juego es muy importante. Sabemos la importante serie que tenemos ahorita, y la verdad que contento. Esto nos da más ánimo para los siguientes 2 juegos que tenemos. Todavía no se acaba. Tenemos que seguir compitiendo.
I'm very happy. I think winning this first game is really important. We know how important this series is, and we know how much baseball we have left and how important those are. So it gives us a lot of joy and a lot of vibes to go out there and compete.
Isaac Paredes, we appreciate the time.
Gracias.
Guys.
Trisha, the Astros were behind in the division by as many as 6 games in early June. 7 games under 500 this month. They're in first place as of tonight.